everyone. I hope you had a good weekend. It's nice to be back with everyone, back in the group. I'm kind of frantically putting things together because I have this challenge that I've got putting together for you guys all starting on Good Friday. So in a couple of weeks, where we are going to be looking at finding stability, which seems to be kind of an important thing to focus on right now. But again, I'm going to be coming live every day, Monday to Friday, in this group for as long as anyone needs. We're going to be making sure that we have each other, that you know that there is connection here, that we are together. It doesn't matter where we are in the world, that there is stability within this group, and that we are looking at ways of creating goodness in this very strange time, that we can find not only balance, but also, as I talked to the Breathing Space members yesterday, we were talking about the fact that in that balance, you're creating a space of fertile soil. There are new seeds being planted of how everyone's going to live, and we don't know what those are going to be coming out as. We don't know what's going to blossom from this time of going within. Already the earth is healing. Already there is huge shifts in different things that are happening in the energy of the world. I think it's really, really important to remember that there's balance, and from that there's also new growth that come from this time. So we're going to be tiptoeing a little bit into that, but nothing too quickly, because quite honestly, I know that everyone is still reeling from the shock. This is all about taking it step by step. So I was sitting here thinking about, well, what should I go in for my live today? And then I kind of thought, I know what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about swimming. Because this time last year, as many of you know, I was in Spain with my family. We were world schooling, and when we were world schooling, we rented a place which had a lovely pool, and it was a very interesting experience. Now, why was it such an interesting experience? Because the truth is that I actually never swam growing up. As a child, I had a swimming class. I did. My mother took me swimming. But in the back of my head, I always had remembered that my mom said that she sunk like a stone, that she had lead feet. And so swimming was always a challenge for her. So the story and image of having lead feet and sinking would actually fill my mind as a child. And I was terrified of water. I would feel the water hit my chest, and then I would start to get claustrophobic. And from a very, very young age, I couldn't stand the idea of swimming. I had to be able to touch the bottom. I had to have that feeling of control within my grasp. And so, yes, my mom took me to swimming lessons, and yes, my swimming teacher was constantly trying to get my head underwater. And, this is the 80s, early 80s. This was not like any gentle approach. This was me everyone trying to get me to go underwater. So, the same as what we see our kids do, of like very tentatively dipping head into water and quickly reacting and freaking out. It was high anxiety for me. Now, my mom even tried bribery, which worked for me often. And I was told that if I went underwater, I would get my Barbie doll that I had been wanting for a very long time. Well, my teacher didn't know about this idea, so there was one day when my teacher decided that if she was going to succeed in getting me underwater, she was going to put me on a slide. And me not knowing that if you go down a slide into a pool, you end up head first into the water, I was totally tricked, totally convinced, and I bubbled up to the surface, blubbering away, seeing my mother on the sideline, and said, now I get my Barbie doll. And I didn't go underwater again for a number of years. So it's interesting, the little seeds that are planted along the way. I met my husband and we started going to the beach more. Of course, I had children, and when you have kids, you don't really go for big swims because you're taking care of the kids. I never trusted myself in the water. I always told myself this story that I did not know how to swim. I could go out, but I had to be able to touch the bottom. This was what everyone was told. There was a couple of times at the beach. We lived in a beach town for a while, and I would go swimming out, and there was a couple of times that I'd hit an undercurrent and I'd go under, and literally it was utter and complete panic for me. This triggered me so badly, the idea of losing control underwater. So we end up in Spain, and we end up in a place that has a pool last year. And I tell myself the story, All of a sudden my son, he didn't really know how to learn how to swim, and suddenly he's teaching himself how to swim. He goes, that's it, I need to learn how to swim. So he is literally taking it every day a little bit further, trusting himself. And he finally turns around and he says, I always thought that I had to do the swimming, but in fact, it is actually the water that is carrying me. And I kind of just looked in shock and thought, if my son can get this, why can I not? And so the process began, and I had to teach myself how to swim. Now, I'm not going to say that I did this brilliant job and I'm swimming any marathons anytime soon, but I did overcome my fear of water last year. And then suddenly I went from being a bundle of nerves and being so wound up and so tight that even my circulation would leave me, so I couldn't stand cold water. And by the end of last summer, I was diving into the ocean and I was swimming freely, and I loved every minute of it. Okay, so why tell you this now? Because we are in uncharted waters. We are in a time when, honestly, we all are craving the ability to feel our feet on the floor. We want to know that there's stability under our feet. We want to be able to touch the bottom. And the truth of the matter is that as long as you are trying to hold on too much within this situation, I have a funny feeling that we're missing out on something exhilarating and fantastic. Now, I am not going to say this is scary conditions. These are stormy days. This is a question of knowing that the current is strong. But within that, I also know that the tide is on your side, and that the water that is flowing, and all of this is flowing, is attempting to carry you through something. And it is only when we lean back and actually trust the water that you can actually float. So the floating is within the letting go. And that's so scary, and I totally appreciate how scary that is. But saying that, I truly believe that aligning to your greatest self, listening to your heart, being true and vulnerable with your family, listening to your desires from your entire life, and focusing on taking it step by step by step, allowing yourself to just let go of needing to touch the bottom step by step, and then quickly swimming back to shore if you need to. Trusting that process is going to carry us all forward. Okay, so yes, very symbolic live today, I will admit, but it just struck me because I've been spending a lot of time. I mean, let's face this, I watched this beautiful interview by Brené Brown where she said, hey, I've never been in a pandemic before. And I can officially tell you, I have never been in a pandemic before. I am talking to so many people, and everyone is standing and saying, what does this even look like? What does this mean? Where do we put our focuses? And the truth is we put our focus on heart center. We put our focus on what we know, which is a deep presence within ourselves. And if we don't know that, then that's what needs to be practiced. It's a question of taking step by step and caring for your own vibration, your own frequency. Taking it step by step, looking at how to raise yourself up, looking at how to focus on the best feeling thought. That does not mean happy face stickering and only focus on the positive. Your best feeling thought. That can be simply reaching for hope or relief. That can be the choice of stopping reading the news and instead shifting to what feels better and grabbing your favorite novel or watching your favorite show. This weekend, in my self-care, I will fully admit it, I pulled out with my husband. We sat, we had a nice drink, we had some snacks, and we sat and we watched episodes of Murder, She Wrote, because it's just nice, wholesome fun with murder. But, cozying up, sitting, watching something pretty mindless also raises vibration. It helps you float. And this is what we're looking for. We're looking for things that just allow you to rise up to the surface and float, rather than pulling yourself down, trying to reach for the bottom. Because this is the thing, yes, grounding, absolutely, that sounds like reaching for the bottom, right? But often the motivation to reach for the bottom of that pool or feeling that sand under your feet in the ocean means that it's just a search for control. And these are not times of control. These are times of questions and mostly of faith. These are times when it has to be about relying on something greater than yourselves and relaxing into the flow of your life. And I'm pretty certain that when people respond to this relaxing into the flow of your life, we're going to be carried along a path that is going to lead you to things that you never thought you would experience. Kids are bored. Because they're bored and distracted, they're looking at new things. My son, budgie and all, has been like, wow, you know what? I'm going to go through my toy box because I forgot I had all this stuff. New things are bubbling up to the surface. New desires can be met. New manifestations can occur. There is magic in the air, but we're not going to find it when we're trying to touch the bottom. And don't think I am disconnecting from how hard this is for so many of you right now. I know about the job loss, and I know about the health, and I know about how overwhelming this is. So by my goodness, I can't stress to you as much as how I am here for you, and this group is here for you. And if you need anything, that you can reach out. But even within the struggle of all of this, I want you to know that there's a flow of life flowing for you, and that flow is carrying you to safety. You have to just know that this too will pass. All right? So that is how I started to learn how to swim last year. And that is how I found the space to be able to float. Because we take it step by step, little bit by little bit, and we focus on the water carrying us rather than needing to control it. Okay? I am looking forward to a week with you. As always, I am looking forward to different things that I can create for you. I also had one little question. We are having a Q&A again on Thursday. I will be posting that post tomorrow where you can ask your questions. But can you do me a favor? And can you ask your kids if they have any questions for me? I am looking at setting something up for them, of setting up some videos where I can talk to them. But I would really appreciate if they could tell me what is sparking fear or upset or anxiety, if they have any questions, and then I would like to be able to be given permission to actually deal with that and answer those as best I can. All right. Love and light, everyone, and I will talk to you soon. Feel free to reach out if you need anything, and make sure that you also, I forgot. In 1 hour, I'm going live on an interview. You will find the link in this group, and I think you'll find it really, really interesting. We've been planning it for a long time, the host and I, and suddenly it came at this fantastic, opportune time, so we're looking forward to that as well. If you register, there will be a chance to also have a replay as well. So don't worry if you can't make it in an hour, just register and then you'll get the link. All right. I look forward to working with you this week. And by all means, keep me posted if you need anything. Love and light, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.